Yo, yo. What up? What up? Yo. What up? What up? Hey. Hey, welcome. Welcome to Benny's crib. What up? Yeah, just leave your shoes over there. It's cool. Yeah, thanks. Does that sound cool? Yo, what up? Welcome to Benny's crib. Hello, beautiful people. It is another night in Portland, Maine, another day in this earth. I'm here with a guest I'm excited for, as I always am. It's a 207 beat maker, a main producer. They're celebrating a new tape, a beautiful collection of beats, productions, and music. It's called Purple Hill Gold Rat. And the artist here today on Benny's crib is Gibbs Freelance. How you doing, yo?
Doing great, man. Doing great. How are you?
Feeling good. I got some kind of I don't think it's ginger, but it's a really soothing tea. So I'm feeling good. I got my space mug. A lot of
Nice.
simple, nice things.
Yeah, I had to get like a few glasses of water ready.
Always. And then I got the agua.
Yeah. I knew I was gonna get some dry throat at some point. So
Yup, the H2O2. Well, as I said, Gibbs Freelance. I might just start calling you Gibbs if that's cool, or Freelance,
that's totally fine.
Or Soren, because your real name is
Soren is fine too. Anything is honestly good. I really have no preference. Sometimes I feel like it's weird when people call me Gibbs, because also a lot of people refer to like Freddie Gibbs as Gibbs. So
that's why I was like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Which is not like my intention at all. So it's just like, maybe, I don't know, whatever works. Freelance is good. I really don't even
Freelance.
Care. It's just it's a name I've had forever, and like Gibbs as a name. But anyway, shout out to Freddie Gibbs. He's dope. He's dope outside of that.
Very true. Gibbs probably one of my favorite rappers of the modern age.
It's incredible.
Well, speaking of hip hop, let's just go right back to the beginning. I asked this question to everybody to start off. Mm-hmm. What's your first memory of hip hop?
First memory of hip hop. Honestly, probably like playing Foursquare at Hall School, and I used to like have this. I only wore like wind pants when I was younger, so I had this like huge CD player, like big old round CD player, and I like stuffed it in there, and I just like made myself mixtapes all the time that like music that either I found or like my brother suggested to me. I have like a 5-year-old brother, so he was like a big influence in like, oh, this is what's hot right now. Like this is, so I remember listening to like a lot of Jay-Z and 50 Cent, like the Get Rich or Die Trying, that sort of thing. Like I think I was in 3rd grade.
When were you born? Like how young are you now?
94.
94.
Yeah.
Same. I'm 94 as well. I was born the same week Illmatic came out, which is pretty cool.
Nice. When did that come out? What?
April 19th. I forget the exact date. Sweet. And then you said you had a brother who was 5 years older than you, so he could put you. Oh, see, that's always clutch. I didn't have an older brother. I had a cousin who actually has a similar name to you, and they're Danish. And we brought up this dope breakfast called the Abel Skeevers. I bet I butchered that, but if you know what that is out there, anybody, tremendous. And shout out Carlsberg beer. That's Danish too, I think. I could be tripping. Regardless of the fact, older cousin put me on to some stuff. And he didn't listen to too much hip hop, but I remember every now and then, it'd be like the place I got to play GTA and shit like that, So I can resonate with that. That's cool though. Where'd you grow up?
In Portland.
Sweet. You're a Portland resident. Where's Hall School? Like what part of the
Hall School? It's not called Hall School anymore. It's now called like the Rose School. I think. Pretty sure. Anyway, it's over by off like right now by
Oh,
like
got you.
yeah, like the Deering, past Deering, sort of that deep area.
Yeah, there's so much Portland in that area. I get lost out there. Like that's you forget how big
a lot.
Greater, like if you do Brighton Ave, Warren Ave, and like Forest Ave, those three areas, like, and they kind of intertwine a little bit too, it's just so much random shit out there. Because people obviously know like the peninsula and all that stuff. And then I'll start doing errands sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck am I? Like, I feel like I'm like almost in West Bumfuck a little bit. And then I turn a corner and there's like a dope food spot. Keep going.
Yeah. No. I was just gonna say eventually it just all looks the same. At a certain point, you're like, wait, this I could have confused. I could have just been in Biddeford right now, and I would have known. Like it just,
a lot of Maine is like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all the industrial zones all mold. Well, that's cool that you're from Portland. I like that. What were your hobbies growing up? Did you have any specific activities or just things you were really interested in?
Well, I was always like trying to be into sports for a while. I did like track from like 4th grade until sometime early high school. I stopped. Yeah, I was like pretty big into just like being athletic and trying to be like sort of normal, quote unquote.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever that means. Just sort of like trying to figure out who the hell I was. And yeah, but I always had like a love for music, and I think music was like always like just wanted to go on walks, so I had an excuse to listen to this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spend extra time after school just walking home to listen to things longer.
That's cool. You said two things that I really connect with so far in terms of music and your connection to it when you were younger. First was burning CDs. Like, no lie, I try and buy a lot of stuff from artist websites directly, band camps,
band camps and stuff.
If they say DM me right now on Insta or Twitter, I'll send you a link to an album, and it's like $20 and you get the WAV files. But I'm also from an era of physical, and I love CDs. So I have an extensive CD collection. You can kind of see it maybe like over here. But
oh yeah, some big stacks. Yeah.
All the fucking all the digital stuff I was still wanted to have in my car, so I burnt it to like all these blank discs, and every now and then I'll grab a couple of these and just drive around in my car. That's tremendous. So I love the fact that you did that growing up, and it's something you connect to, and the fact that like you would kind of finesse your time in order to just being able to listen to music. I would do that a lot too. I'd be like, I'm gonna go over there and kind of like sit on this rock and hang out and just play some music. And like people ain't gonna really like bug you that much. You get your headphones in. That was some of the best times I think growing up, was when I could be by myself and listen to music, because I kind of had like power in those situations. Like you weren't in class, didn't have to listen to shit. Maybe like your peers or your parents were telling you, you're like, I'm gonna listen to this song, and if I want to keep skipping it and replaying it back, I'm gonna do that. And so shout out that I love that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to bring up about your youth activities before we proceed to the next question?
No, honestly.
Hell yeah.
Just always a love for music. I was like the kid that was always needing a like bigger iPod,
Yeah.
I still actually have my last iPod. It's like 9 years old.
That's so dope. I was just gonna pull my tune out. I got speakers in my bedroom recently, like these like $20 like computer speakers I found. I plugged them in. They don't sound actually bad. So I brought the only item that I can play music without, like a lightning port, like a headphone jack, which is my iPod Classic. So I have an iPod Classic like in my bedroom, and then I actually have another one I found. So again, I'm on the same page as you, young Gibbs, young freelance.
We grew up at the same time. It makes sense.
That's cool though. Yeah, that you. I don't know. I just geek out about shit like that. I love to hear that you were that kid, because I felt like I was kind of that kid in some ways as well. Let's talk about the music you were listening to What were you playing when you were like a teen and kind of figuring out being a fan of music for the first time?
Oh man. So I mean, I definitely used to listen to a lot of radio
Same.
stuff that came out until I was maybe uh like eighth grade, somewhere around there. And then I was like, I just want to find other things. And then I remember like a moment with my brother and like talking to him about just like hip hop and making him like burn me like a bunch of his stuff.
Oh, do you remember like the songs on those of the artists? You mentioned I think 50 Cent and Jay-Z. So.
Oh yeah, oh plenty. Like yeah, I mean like anything from like I can't remember the original dump that he gave me because there were like a couple in the early times. Like he really put me on. He would just like give me like so much music, and then I don't even know if he listened to all of it, but I would never get through all of it, and so I would just do as much as I could at a time. But I remember, you know, like the obvious stuff like Wu-Tang and NWA, like Tribe Called Quest, anything in that range of that scope. Nothing like super deeper than that. I think the deepest thing I got from him on like the hip hop spectrum was maybe like Cannibal Ox or something like that.
That's decent though. Like I mean, for Maine,
like,
a lot of people ain't bumping, you know, Cannibal Ox probably as, you know, teens in Maine. I would imagine.
Exactly.
Cold Vein is like, whoo. God damn.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, especially just coming from like, you know, a white family where like our parents weren't listening to that shit. They were just like, the shit I got from my parents was like Steely Dan, like Moody Blues, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
just dope
which
too.
is dope. Steely Dan's amazing, but like, and there's a lot of stuff I'll hold from that era, but like, so for him to like have his own influence and for me to just sort of take from that, yeah, it was big.
I love that. Shout out Cannibal Ox. Anyone at home who's like, what's Cannibal Ox? Hopefully I'll blow your mind a little bit. It's the debut album from this dope hip hop duo from New York, LP. You might know Run the Jewels now. They're kind of a small, just kidding, like they're fucking huge hip hop group. But it was on LP's Def Jux label, and it is such a good album. It's just like that underground early 2000s hip hop that made a lot of people like you and I, Young Gibbs. I like Young Gibbs if you're cool with that one.
I'm liking that. I go with whatever people take. And everyone's cool. Always different, and that's what I like about it. I just go with that.
Well, Young Gibbs and I fuck with a certain variety of hip hop, probably growing up when we were getting younger. Just that early 2000s shit, like I said, and that 90s stuff as well. And Cold Vein is an essential, in my opinion, from that. And if you want to see like LP's production like 20 years ago, go peep that.
And Virgil Meta and Vast Air.
I mean, you can't.
Vast Air.
Vast Air's got one of the most wild voices ever. But
yeah, he's got a wild voice. That whole era of like Def Jux is like so cool. The fact that like LP and like A$AP Rock and those dudes were just like chain smoking cigarettes and like in some New York apartment and like just making beats is like I really just want to understand like what you felt like in that moment at that time being with those people.
I wonder
and, like, what the motivation was to like do this thing, but it's so dope. And like there's this other cat like C. Ray's Walls.
Yeah, he's dope. I know him.
Incredible.
Yeah. That's a deep name. That's a deep name. Gibbs Freelance pulling out C. Ray's Walls. No, I've never had anybody drop that on my podcast.
I love C. Ray's Walls, man. I only really got onto him maybe in the past year, but me and my friend Monduro, who's also like a local producer, rapper, musician, we just like got onto that. We just saw some interview where he was freestyling with A$AP Rock and Vast Air, and it's just like,
because he was on Def Jux.
He said to keep running it back because it was just too good. Like, yeah, there's some Def Jux documentary on YouTube.
I gotta look this up. That's fuck with Def Jux heavy. Def Jux had some.
I don't know what it is.
Shit.
I don't know, remember what it's called. It's just called like Def Jux documentary. It has like a date or something in parentheses or something.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Cage, Danny was on there. Dell dropped an album. You got Despot, Lift, Merge was on there. RJD2, Rob Sonic. Come on, yeah, one of the most wild names of all time, too. Do you know what I'm gonna say? Have you ever heard of this artist? Yak Balls. That's literally an artist. I think YAKBALLZ.
On Def Jux?
Yeah, that's a real artist.
Word.
Yak Balls.
No, I don't think I've heard of them.
He actually is, the name is deceiving too. He in that cat, and like with being around those caliber MCs, the dude definitely has some rap chops too. It's not like he's.
I feel like if you're up with those guys, you gotta.
Yeah. You're
either like the dopest dude ever, or like, you're also nice with.
Yeah, but yeah. Shout out Yak Balls if you're watching at home. When did you really become an active hip hop fan? And I mean active in the sense of you are waking up and hitting the internet or hitting a record store, or you are kind of becoming the person putting yourself on, and it's not your older brother or other sources.
Yeah. Probably like, I don't know, that's a hard one to say. Probably early into college sometime. That's when I started making beats. Yeah, so I'm 26 now. I started making beats when I was 19. Just because my friends, my friend who I like grew up with in Portland, and we went to college together, and he was just like making beats on Ableton for a while, and he had been doing it like since high school, and then for whatever reason, I don't even remember why I got into it, but yeah, I got into it then, and then that was like really when it started for me. It was just like learning that, and then being like, oh, there's like so much more to this than my like tiny little brain can even wrap my head around at that time. Yeah. Like it was just like, let me just like take in everything I can. And yeah, it's like, I feel like it's only in the past like maybe 2 years that I've really consciously been able to like really appreciate everything for what it is, all the elements of hip hop. So much, man. There's so much more that I don't know. What I mean? It's like that's exactly it. I'm still learning. I'm still discovering. People, I think, lose a lot of beauty when they close their mind about things. And I have a pretty open mind about hip hop and the state of it. I have a lot of faith in the underground, and I think it's in such a beautiful place that I love to see. I think the fact that motherfuckers can be making albums and selling them via cryptocurrency and making like dope ass stuff in the underground that you never really would hear in anywhere besides, the internet in certain places or like live. And then I even love hearing like the way producers are making more mainstream top down radio beats. And I'm always inspired, I'm as much as inspired by like a Pierre Bournet beat as I am, there's too many names, man. I get put on these spots. Like a Theravada verse, like I love every part of the game is what I'm saying. I'm just using names to like make that point. I see. And it's so expansive and it's so infinite. And hip hop isn't just the music, it's also it's the street art. It's also, in my opinion, fashion and visual art. It's DJing, it's dancing, bro. There's so much parts about hip hop that are so influential. And I agree in the statement that there's just so much to learn still, and it's so expansive. I like that. That's an important way to look at it because I think it allows you to learn more, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. Tremendous. Let's get into something you touched upon already. When you first got into producing, you mentioned you had a homie that was making beats in Ableton for a minute. So was he the initial force that got you into producing, or where did that want to produce really start? I don't know. That's a good question. I think my want to make music has always been there. Like I tried to learn guitar when I was younger, but it's always just been like a commitment factor for me. And like even in my early days, like I wanted to make music, but it was like actually committing to the art of it was like a whole different thing that I didn't understand yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did anyone in your fam play music, or were there any musicians in your life, in your circles?
Not at all. I mean, my like my dad always loved music, and you know, my mom loves music, my brother loves music. It wasn't like a huge thing, but it was like I kind of heavily thought of that as like a big identity factor for me. It was just like liking a lot of different types of music.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it was never like playing or anything like that.
Yeah, but still, like you're consuming music in a way that is probably a little bit more in depth and diverse than like the norm, so to speak. Again, what is the norm? Who knows? But I mean, I know what you mean. Again, like I'd be playing 80s hair metal when I would be like 12 years old, and then I'd go and put on an old school hip hop song, and then I might go put on like a modern alternative song that I heard on WCYY. So again, I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, but I haven't mentioned this yet, but I was like DJing in high school and then kept DJing in college.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
was like that was always my big thing, was that I just really enjoyed DJing, and I just did that for a really long time. I still do it, but just like not as much. And obviously with COVID, it's like not really a thing.
Yeah. In what sense too? Were you DJing functions and events and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was like mostly just like parties for friends and like stuff like that at college, and then like school like dance like events and shit like that in high school.
Hell yeah. Getting a little bread on the side, man?
No, not at all.
Ooh,
I don't think I made money as a DJ until like way too deep into it, and I made like $50 like 7 months after the fact.
Ooh. Oh, after the event. Shit. Hey, you know, a win's a win. Take it.
It was good. It was good. I haven't really taken the money hustle as seriously until like the past like year or so, honestly.
Sweet.
Just in terms of like wanting to put a value to stuff, you know.
So you've been around music in a sense, you know, curation since high school, not just, you know, college. That's cool. Obviously, you get more into the heavy, like in-depth producing side of things rather than just putting together DJ sets, but still in the same, I think, field, so to speak. I want to talk about your early days too, getting the hang of it and starting to kind of feel like you were getting a process. What gear or software were you using?
If you want to say. No, I was well, actually, when I was a kid, I used to use GarageBand all the time because it's just on my computer. Yeah. So I would just like pull loops in and just. I love GarageBand. So I never like think about that and don't like consider that a thing. But I did used to just pull like the Spy 2 loop and just put it in there and just put like some random ass other organ drum shit on there. It was like, yeah, this is dope. But when I was early on, I just used Ableton and got like a pirated version for my friend. Allegedly, potentially. And yeah, basically just went on from there. That's I was sweet. Like pretty terrible at it for a really long time, but you know, so such as anything. Yeah, well, Ableton is an infinite source of sound, but it's not the easiest thing to figure out. I've downloaded Ableton Lite and I was like, shit, man, I can't even get a fucking drum break, and I've been doing this for 3 hours. So I feel you in that sense of being a novice and looking at it. That's because that's the only perspective I've ever really had. Let's talk about when you started dropping tapes, man, because I like your production. I listen to your beats online. Like I said, I think the new tape that you dropped, Purple Hill Gold Rat, on Bandcamp now, is dope as hell. And I peeped you had some tapes called Others, you know, volume 1 and 2. And I think, did you have a third one as well? Yeah, there's a third one. It's like sort of on SoundCloud. I'm like, yeah, my relationship with releasing music is that I put up beat tapes and then over time just delete beats that I don't like.
You're doing the Life of Pablo, Kanye West treatment.
Yeah, kind of. I don't upload anything or change any of the beats, but I'm just like,
just delete it.
Whack. Or like the SoundCloud's like, oh, you're running out of space, and I'm like, well, fuck this.
Shit. You know hey, I mean? Somebody donate to Gibbs Freelance, Young Gibbs.
Oh, that's fine. I'll get a pro account sometime. I don't care about the SoundCloud. It's more about Bandcamp for me at this point, and like at some point I'll put my shit on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah, you could even do what some producers do, where they do a you could call it a best of, where it's like, here's a compilation of the tapes I don't have on Spotify. It could be all of them, and then you can just get a taste and go buy the rest. But do whatever you want to do, Young Gibbs. Who gives a fuck? You know, it's your life, man. That's the best thing about it. But when did you drop your first tape? Was the Others Volume 1 your first one you released? Or is there some deleted stuff? I don't even
remember when that was. Oh, I put out tapes since the very beginning. I was like, as soon as I started producing, I was like putting out so much music. It was honestly kind of ridiculous.
No shit. Yeah. You don't have a lot out now. I couldn't find much about you.
Well, that's because the profiles I have now are like, you know, like the just like the second coming of the other profiles. There were profiles before that that were like that deleted and then reset. I got one of my old SoundCloud got like nixed because of DJ mixes. I actually had like a lot more followers on that SoundCloud too, even more than I did now, and that was like 5 years ago.
Damn.
Just because I was like putting up DJ mixes and shit.
That's cool, yeah, because you were making beats and you had the DJ experience, and then you almost could combine those to do mixes and shit. And that's cool.
Yeah, and it was that. Yeah, that part's funny, just because there wasn't like a lot of good examples of like people that went from DJing to like producing that like really inspired me in like a ton of ways. There were like some that I found later on, but at the time I was kind of like, well, I'll just figure something.
Did you have any producing inspirations when you started? Like, is there any beat makers you were like, producers you were like, I fuck with this, I kind of want to make this? Or was it more just you and the process itself?
I don't know if I like really singled out producers for at least for like maybe like a couple years into it. I like wasn't honestly even like, I knew who, you know, people were like Q-Tip and Dr. Dre and you know, I knew who LP was, I knew all the different names like that, but it wasn't like I was like, oh, who's this guy and what did he produce outside of this project that I like? You know, I knew people like Paul White, like from Triple X or whatever, like projects that I liked. And I was like, but
we could talk about that. Well, we could talk about Danny Brown. I talked about Danny Brown like 2 episodes ago. I got on a tangent, so keep going before I get distracted.
No.
Shout out Paul White. Shout out Paul White.
No, Paul White's incredible. I love Paul White. I mean, we can. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just because we're talking about Paul White, the album Open Mike Eagle put out with Paul White called Hella Personal Film Festival.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible, man. Like
shout out Open Mike Eagle too. Open Mike Eagle's discography is stacked.
It's incredible. And that's only something I've again come to appreciate in recent years, but it's brilliant, man.
Yeah,
I was lucky to see him live in Boston, like maybe a year before the pandemic at some point.
Really, I've never seen Open Mike live. He's on my list for sure. I'd love to see him rock a set. I'm trying to think if I've ever like been around a bill that he might be on. I don't know. I'd love to see like Soul Folks if she can never open back up. Have a young. Have you been there? You must have been to Soul Folks, right?
Yeah, I played there a couple times.
The Beat Invitational. Oh wait, all right, pause. We'll get to that when the timeline gets there. I know time is a flat circle, but we perceive it linearly, whatever, yada, yada, yada. So what I really wanted to talk about in your early days, which I think one of the more important things about the early part of the process is the lessons you kind of learn. You know, you dropped a lot of tapes, scraps from SoundCloud profiles, or just, you know, profiles online. Then I feel like the other series is where you really start to form really consistent sound, if I can, say that. And
honestly, I would disagree with that, but you should
really,
keep
well,
going.
just what I felt is when I played the first one, and then I played the second, and I played the third, I'm like, it feels like throughout these tapes, this dude's like tightening up his style a little bit. And I feel like when I played even your new tape, which I think is a lot of unreleased older tracks, right? It's not stuff you've been working on currently as much.
The new tape is a lot of just all over the place stuff. Yeah, some stuff from like 3 years ago, some stuff from like 3 months ago.
Yeah, so there's even kind of just moments where I heard I'm like, yeah, it's the pacing, the way that you have the loop, time itself, and I'm just big on time and the listener's ear. Like, are you intriguing them, or is it repetitive? Is it a flow? And I felt like you tightened up that flow, that important kind of path that the sound brings you throughout those 3 tapes. And then even there were some songs like I really fucked with on the new tape, like Smoke Filled Room, Doctor's Orders, and Sedani were 3 that I really liked a lot. And I just felt like I don't know, you leveled up a little bit as you were dropping those. You might, I don't know if you agree with that or not, but was there any lessons?
Oh, that's definitely true. I feel like this last tape is sort of like the Others Volume 3 was like 2018.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
3 years ago.
So it's been a long time. And the reason being just wanting to like refine myself and get to a place where I have like a consistent idea, and then also like feel comfortable releasing my stuff. Like I've had so many tapes that I almost finished before this one that I just at the last minute was like, I moved on since here. Like I need to like, you know what I mean? Like I always let too much time pass, which is kind of like a problem I feel like a lot of producers have. But
it's all artists and people have, man. I think it's a thing.
mean, artists.
Word. Well, still, yeah, I feel like maybe it's because those were the only tapes I could find from you online. But when I listened to that series, I was like, damn, like, there's some really dope moments I'm hearing like throughout these tapes where this guy's like really like honing in on some really like dope shit. And then when I listened to the new tape when it dropped, I was like, dude, yeah, like I feel like there's certain songs where maybe I don't know what time they came out in or when you produced them, but I was like, shit, like this is like some really unique, cool stuff. Like this is definitely shit I would definitely love to hear at Resample like right now. Yeah. Did you think you learned anything about that like time period, or just like, even in the 3 years since dropping, about your craft or about the process in general that you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's probably too many things to say.
That's definitely
but
true.
A lot of it is like coming to terms with like what it means to just like be a producer and be, not only like, I don't know, just a producer in like Portland, Maine with like not a ton of like connections and stuff, but also just being like just I feel like I came a lot from like dance music, so I was trying to figure out how to incorporate just making dance music and making all of the other things I liked into this sort of like hip hop place, because I knew I loved hip hop and I like making beats for people. And yeah, this I feel like this new tape is sort of just like really where I'm at in terms of being like ambient music and then also beats.
Definitely.
Also like sort of sound collage design, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I feel the ambient vibe on a lot of the songs too. Well, that's what I like too, because ambient can be something that's tough to do a consistent blend with hip hop sometimes, because if you get it too ambient, you can kind of, in a good way, make the people like too relaxed. Sometimes I put on Eno to legit just like veg out sometimes, or the opposite, to get like in a busy like cleaning mode and like lose myself in my thoughts. But sometimes if I have like, some really dope beats in between ambient, the vibes won't always flow. And that's what I think, like what I was hearing in your sound, your ability to mix different. I could even be like from your DJ shit too. I don't know. And then when you do mixes, but you can put different textures and feelings in the same songs even, and then on the same projects, but they don't jar one another. They don't offend one another. They complement each other more, if that makes sense. So that's cool that you mentioned the dance background.
No, it's I don't know. I've always been unsatisfied with just like releasing beat tapes, and it's taken me so long. Like the other stuff, like I liked it, but I would get so stressed out in the process of like mastering it and putting it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I just kind of had to step away from that for a bit and be like, okay, like let me just actually get good at this before I just keep continuously pumping out music. And
sure.
Not only that, but like how do I release stuff and make it interesting, like, or try to make it interesting. Like I this is only like the beginning of just experimenting and trying new ways of like trying to release beat tapes that are different.
Yeah.
And not necessarily just here are some beats that necessarily you can rap on. Like I feel like there's versions of those beats that I've sent like to rappers, but in like the beat tape sense, I feel like it just needs to be different. You know what I mean? And so it's been getting to a place of, at least for just for me, I guess from like a listener's perspective, like every time I would hear a beat transition in others, I'm like, oh, I could have like done this or that, or you know what I mean, from like a DJ perspective. So I was just like, how can I release something that sounds like I'm playing live, sort of, you know?
Well, I got two things to say. First, 100% agree with that, because there's definitely beat tapes that I just want to listen to without any vocals, and then there's beat tapes I hear like, oh, this would be dope if maybe they like put someone on this loop. But there's definitely a huge difference. So shout out that. And second, perfect segue talking about live music, because I want to talk about how you linked with Resample. How did that come together? How'd you hear about it initially? Because you're from Portland, though. You out here, you in these streets, and Resample's in Portland.
I know. I've been there since like the first show. I just don't even remember like why I heard it.
Could it just be Instagram?
I know like the dudes at Soul Folks and stuff. Like I know I met like before he was rapper, I met Milo at like the show that he played at Space Gallery like some years ago, and I was like friends with Goddamn Chan.
Oh, nice.
Still am. I haven't seen him in a while, but
you got a baby now. He's busy.
I know he's busy. He's a busy man in COVID and all that.
Yeah, shit. COVID is a real thing.
But I miss seeing him at live shows and shit. But
the God.
No, like he, like I can't remember if he told me about the show or what, but he was there. He was opening for Milo, and anyway, he just Milo just needed weed, and I was like, oh, I actually have somebody that I can get you weed. And
yeah,
that was like we just like kind of started a
allegedly
from there. And
that's
then
sick.
I was like, I remember being at Soul Folks, and like for whatever reason, like Fiverr was there, and this is like before he had cut his hair, and he had Dave, and he had like
Dave had long hair.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah. I remember seeing him rocking an SP404 on the leather couch of Soul Folks, and
Dave knows everybody, man. Dave, come on the podcast. You don't even have to come through the crib now. We got a pandemic.
I haven't heard from him in a while.
He's elusive.
I've seen him on Instagram or something, right? He must just not be.
No, he's got the Fivers on the gram. Fivers probably got one of the best grams I've ever seen, to be straight, man. I'm trying to think. I guess maybe like Dave doesn't have an Instagram, but who is Dave? Who is Fiverr? What is life? Yeah, perception and memories and senses.
It's true.
Damn it. I can't. Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I interviewed Luke, Gary. Fuck. I'm all fucked up. We did talk about this in the Turquoise Crown interview. I'm bad remembering names, and someone lied to me about the homie's name, and I think Jerry was the lie. Gary's the real name. That's what it is. I'm going for it. Gary. Sam. Yeah, Gary's bruv's real name. I think. I'm so bad at real names. I have to remember.
Oh, okay. I don't know these dudes' real names either.
Yeah.
See, I know most of
I feel so bad if I can't remember.
Know their monikers.
I forgot that Crown's name was Sam until like 6 months ago. I get names mixed up so much because I look at you guys like I forgot. I can't forget your name because your name reminds me of one of my family members. But if your name is like a name that's standard, sometimes I'm like, shit, bro. I'm just gonna remember by your art name because like that's what that's how I met you, I guess. But that's why I'm Benny P, man, because then that shit don't happen to me. But
yeah,
all the Resample homies, Sam, Gary, Ben, and Luke, aka Bizza, 1 Pound, Bruv, and Turquoise Crown, were here on the 10th episode of Benny's Crib. I tried to get Fiverr, and he just wasn't down. And I respect that. He's like, I can't do it. Like right now, I got some stuff. I'm too busy. Something like that. I don't even think I'm quoting it right. I'm kind of high. I'm not gonna front. But I was like, yeah, no respect. Like if you guys you're going on, like it's all love here at Benny's Crib. You know this, young Gibbs. It's a very welcoming vibe. And then I think I had one come back on, Bruv come back on, and then I just had Turquoise Crown, and Crown and I were talking about Dave again. I'm like, we need Dave. Like, we need to get the Resample origins. I want to hear the long hair saga.
I don't know much about it outside of walking in and just being like, damn, who the fuck is this kid?
Yeah, he just probably grew it out like most people. Like I grew my hair for 5 years and cut it in 2019. So I do be like that. But that's wild. That's like such a Fiverr thing, man. Like, no, he's just posted up in the back of Soul Folks on the leather couch, rocking in 404 with mad long hair that I never even knew he had.
Fucking fire ass beats too.
Yeah, dude, he's like, stupid. He's stupid.
The one of like few times I've ever seen him rock his shit.
So dope, man. And I think I've seen one set from him at Resample, and I was like, fuck. All right, so then you link with him at Resample. At Soul Folks, and that's how you heard about Resample?
I think so. It was either that or like Mozart 2-on-2.
How'd you meet Mozart? He's the homie too. He had one of the best Benny's Crib.
I know a lot of people. In this town, man.
It's a small town, and I mean,
like I used to DJ at Flask and shit, so I know all the people from like Sundays. I don't know if you know like Stephen Jordan, and that's how I know like Chan and Mozart.
Yeah,
some other people that I can't think of their names now, but yeah, no, I've known Mo for a bit. Mostly just met him through like there was like the short like space gallery thing that I was like sort of half involved with Kesha Wazo for a period of time.
Yeah, if
you know of that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And I played like a show with them once, and then just like started doing this like class where like Mo and Peter from Space were doing this sort of like course about just like making beats and shit and production. Yeah, it didn't last very long, but that's how I heard about Mo and just started following him. And I just remember seeing shit about Resample and being like, "What the hell is that?" And then seeing that like Dave was involved and other people that I knew. And I had played a show with Sam Turquoise Crown like a while ago, like maybe like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
Something like that. And so I knew him and then just, got involved from there.
Hell yeah. What were your initial impressions of Resample? Like, what were your thoughts of it?
I mean, obviously, like the visuals, shout out to Fiverr again. It's just like the visuals come straight out, you just see the TVs. And then the fact that the TV amount grew over time is also nice.
It got to be wild in the best way.
Just like cool people. Like sometimes there's a lot of people, sometimes there weren't that many people. I wasn't at every single one, but like most of them I went to, it was only once a month. And it was always like the same sort of close crowd of folks. It was just like a nice fucking good ass vibe. Like good to see like the regulars, and then just like see like Mozart pull out all of his shit, and then see like everyone rocking their 404, and then whoever like the guest was, man, that was good, man. Yeah, that's how I connected with like a lot of people. Like, yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, do you have any particular sets or memories, ones you've watched, ones you've played, or just anything that stick with you?
I mean, any Bright Boy set.
Bright Boy, the homie, he's been on the podcast too. Bright Boy,
any Bright Boy set is the best. Yeah, you know, no one even understands. It's just Bright Boy.
I've been saying
he's great.
Alter G doesn't get the flowers they deserve. Alter G. Alter G. Yo, I gotta get Teal Child and Roach Dad on this shit soon, man. I'll figure it out. I try and space it out. I try and have more rappers and MCs, singers, and then producers, and I'll kind of space it out. So I'm not gonna do, you know, like Gibbs, Teal Child, Roach Dad, all in a line. You know, sometimes I like every now and then I'll do that.
Split it up a little.
You got to give the people a little bit of diversity, like Neapolitan ice cream.
Those two are necessary, though.
They're huge.
Those two are OGs beyond my time.
Huge out here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, they've been name dropped by a lot of people, and I feel like they'd help fill in some gaps too, for sure. With, you know, because I've interviewed Bright Boy, like I said, so it'd be cool to get their perspectives. I've interviewed a lot of people who've been making beats and doing DJing out here like since early 2000s, if not late 90s, like, you know, 32 French, Mo, like you said. A lot of people, even like Chan was a young dude and shit out here, man. Chan was out here doing it. But anyway, shout out Resample infinitely. Shout out all the homies there, and love to everyone.
Yeah, actually the first person I connected with there was Trell,
Cowboy art teacher.
Because
Trelly, yeah.
He, for whatever reason, knew me off of a song I put out on SoundCloud, and like hit me up, and I remember we just like kicked it one night. And then
he makes wild shit too.
He's incredible, and I remember showing up and seeing him like win a beat battle in front of like Chan and Spose like a really long time ago, a while ago. And like, I don't know, they were doing some sort of beat battle series at some time at Space. I don't really remember. I just saw that one. And yeah, there's mad dudes playing beats. I think like Saeed, Bright Boy played some shit, and like other people played. I don't remember, but yeah, Trell won, and then Trell connected me with goddamn Chan, and then everyone else, you know. But yeah, shout out to Trell. Trell the god.
Trelly the homie. Another one. You want to hear his story, hit Benny's crib. All these people pretty much got their own Benny's crib, so that's what we do.
I gotta listen to his too. Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I actually need to listen to this because
there's a lot. Charlie had episode 57. Mo had, I think, in the 60s. Let's see. Mo was 59.
Oh, I need to. Yeah.
Crown was 71. We doing it, and hopefully we'll get some more homies soon. Let's talk about one of my other favorite institutions of art, hip hop, and free thinking in the state of Maine, and that is Soul Folks. What were your thoughts and just memories, and what sticks with you when you think back to playing beats there and just being in there before the pandemic? It's a big question.
Soul Folks is crazy, dude. Were you there at like the beat invitationals and stuff at all?
I didn't get to go to one of them because I was in New York, and I think I just missed the first one. I was slipping. I was like working or something. I didn't realize it was that day. But I will say, I was there for the opening day, 404, 2018, I think.
Yeah.
And that shit.
A lot of people there that day.
A lot of people. What the fuck? That might have been the best damn hip hop concert ever in Maine that day.
Yeah,
that's something big to say.
Yeah.
But it was like Pink Navel, SB the Moore,
didn't like Armand Hammer play? Yeah.
Rap Ferreira.
No, it's Kenny Siegel.
Kenny Siegel
was there. I got to meet Kenny Siegel because of that.
Soul
which is
Folks
like
is
perhaps
stupid.
one of the
I mean,
greatest things of all
and
time.
Ruby Yacht is dumb. Like Ruby Yacht's so diverse and talented.
Yeah,
One of my favorite collectives. They kill it.
Yeah,
the fact that
they're a huge inspiration.
I used to get haircuts in downtown fucking Biddeford. No, they've taken it over. They've made it cool, man. Like, it's just, man, I can't tell you how much I love the fact that they're there too, because just having that shit in your own backyard means the world. It's just what that stands for, even is almost like half as good as what it is. You're like, shit, this can be out here. I can be in this beautiful little hill in Biddeford looking at Saco River on a nice summer night, kicking it, playing some tunes, standing outside smelling Vietnamese food. Like, this is life in Maine.
Yeah.
This is wild. Like, people, you should appreciate that, people. Once it's back open, if it all figures itself out with the pandemic and shit, like, it's a beautiful thing. But I'm glad you appreciated it while we had it, young Gibbs.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, shout out to Rap Ferreira. He fucking him and Al, Safari Al.
Shout out Al.
Those dudes made that shit happen.
They built that shit.
And Randall Bravery.
Our bravery.
Yeah, man. I mean, Al like built all of the shit in there. He built like the record racks. He like
yeah.
They
100%. Shout out all those people immensely, yo.
Yeah.
And if you want, there's a Ruby Yacht podcast of Al, Dev, Pink Navel, and SB the More. So if you want to listen to that, that's also available on Benny's Crew. Righty. Before we move on to Purple Hill Gold Rat, some rapid fire questions, perhaps some other just finalities involving what you're working on right now. I just want to have just place for you to have any kind of final thoughts on just the main beat and main music scene, because it seems like, you've been out here in Portland, living here your whole life, so you've got to be, physically around a lot of important institutions and places. That's why I moved here, so I could, literally like walk, from Congress to the East End to the West End to see everything, see all the shows. So not only have you, been here in the hub of a lot of stuff, like you said, a good amount of people, you went from Bright Boy to Chan to the Soul Folks. So do you have any? I'm a huge fan of the scene out here, so it seems like you have a lot of love for it as well. So that's why I'm asking. Do you have any beautiful sentiments to state about this culture out here before I move on?
Oh man, it's beautiful. I love it. I can't wait till we can come together again.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great, because that's what Resample and Soul Folks was. It's just like all of that shit coming together. Soul Folks was like international.
Yeah,
on an international level.
Yeah. Even Resample Resample had motherfuckers coming in from Texas, coming from anywhere on the East Coast.
Oh, that's true. I think there was a dude from Australia at Soul Folks at one point, though.
I think you're right about that, Jack.
Like, I remember on the mic someone being like, "This motherfucker's from Australia," and I was just like, "Wait, are you serious?" I drove like 25 minutes to get here.
Yeah,
and parked across the street.
Like, I got mad family.
It's crazy how lucky we were. Yeah.
Like, I learned how to drive in Biddeford straight up using my grandparents' car, and I'm outside, and I'm like, I'm holding Triple X by Danny Brown, a Richard Pryor album, Little Brother the Minstrel Show, Arm & Hammer Rome.
Hell yeah.
And a Soul Folk shirt that I gave money to Rory for. I shook Billy Wood's hand that day. I'm just like, this is in Biddeford. This ain't even in Portland, bro. It's down in Biddeford, B. Like, are you kidding me? All right, I'm getting too hyped. I'm too off the Gibbs freelance train. We gotta get back on track.
You're good. But I can talk about this shit all day.
Same, but I love that, because we need people to understand. Yeah, obviously, you could go to New York and be working with, the world's, I say this in quotes, the world's greatest people, like in different studios. You can do that in Chicago, you can do that in LA, you can be bouncing back, and that's all cool. And it's important to travel, I think, and make music in different places and get inspired 100%. But it's always imperative, I think, to remember that there's always a whole infinite, beautiful, and talented scene in your backyard. And that mentality is exactly why we do what we do here at Rhyme Beat, why I do what I do at Benny's Crib. It's important to remember that. Yeah, you might want to find some greener grass, but turn the fuck around and look at your backyard. You got a whole jungle and you ain't even looking at it because your back's to it. Turn around, Jack.
Some people need that though, you know. Some people need that life lesson, and then they come back or they stay or they go somewhere else.
100%. And I'm not even saying you have to stay here. Yeah. It's even just.
But no. I know what you're saying for sure.
I used to shit on
so much beauty here.
Shit on the area because I only thought dope hip hop was made, like I said, like in New York or Atlanta or LA. I'm like, there's no dope rappers out here. Like I had. Shout out this professor. He the OG. I got a picture of me and him right here. I'm looking at. He said, you should do a blog about Maine rappers. And I was a 20-year-old in a communications class in front of a bunch of pretty older girls. I think I was the youngest kid in that class. And I was like, what am I really going to rap about in Maine, man? Like, it's like 3 rappers I know. And other people probably rapping about lobster and flannels and shit, just trying to say funny stuff. And, but then I look back and I hated at it. I don't like that word. And I strongly dislike the fact that I would even diminish my own culture like that, even in an offhanded joke in a sense. It's like, no, like we talking to Gibbs Freelance right now. We're talking about goddamn Chan. We're talking about Resample. We're talking about artists that are doing amazing shit out here. So shout out to 207. And I want to talk about your shit now if we can, if you're down.
Yeah, sure.
But before we talk about the super dope Purple Hill Gold Rat, one of my favorite beat tapes at the moment, I want to do some rapid fire. That. Yeah, for sure. No, like honestly, the fact that it even is from Portland like makes me even more pumped about it, obviously, because it's my area. But it's just good beats. Like it's just dope shit. Like it's dumb's a good word, excuse me, but like it's dope to just put like a tape like that on. Smoke a L, and
that one's got a vibe. There's other moods to be had. I'm excited to put out different styles of stuff now.
Yeah, and if you
now
ever
that I got that one out of the way, it's like
okay, if you want different opinions, maybe, or you want to just dump shit, you can always send it my way. BennyP@Rambeat.com. We always down to hear unreleased music.
All right. I'll keep that in mind.
Love. But before we talk about the tape, let's do these rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge thing we love at Benny's Crib. What's your favorite cereal?
Cheerios.
Just straight?
Yeah.
Whoa, no honey nut?
Yeah. I don't go crazy on the cereal.
You a wild man, Gibbs Freelance. Plain Cheerios is your favorite cereal.
If you had to put a gun to my head in the cereal aisle of the local Hannaford, I would potentially probably pick Cheerios.
I like that.
They're also cheaper. They're usually cheaper than most of the other shit anyway.
You could probably get
Hannaford brand Cheerios. It's like,
yeah, you can get them even one of those big, dude. The apple cinnamon. You don't want to do the apple cinnamon Cheerios. Oh man, I'm getting too excited. Frosted Cheerios, those are so good.
That shit is dope. I mean, that's like a good like late night snack for me. I don't use that as like the breakfast thing anymore.
Yeah, I don't eat cereal for breakfast either. I'm talking. It has to be this double digits in the time when it's dark out. It's either 10 or 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And
I see what you mean. I gotta get back on the cereal.
I'm like drinking the oat milk out the carton before I put it in the bowl because I'm just like, I need life. I'm like, yo, chill. Like, make the cereal. Like, stop eating handfuls of the dry and drinking the milk. Make a bowl and sit down. I'm like a dog. All right, let's move on to the next rapid fire. Who's a producer that you admire today?
Kenny Siegel.
Shout out Kenny Siegel, one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it in the same question, but add one more word. Who's a main producer you admire today?
Oh, man. First person comes to mind, Trell, easily.
Yeah, Trelly, tremendous.
Yeah.
Favorite time of day to make beats?
Like 10 in the morning to like 2 in the afternoon.
Nice.
If I can hit it, then those are the good hours.
Sweet. Hoodies or crew necks?
Hoodies.
Sam, I think you're wearing one right now too.
It's like I'm from Maine.
Ah,
It's just like everyone here wears a hoodie.
shout out everyone who just
You
bought
gotta block the
a
wind.
Ryan B
somehow.
hoodie. Wait, what'd you just say?
I said you gotta block the wind somehow.
Just block the wind right here. Can you see it?
Oh, that's
wild.
wow.
We're talking about hoodies and you say block the wind.
Weird. Wait,
yeah.
Well, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh wait, that's like the name of like a fucking thing here.
Yeah, that's that's a dope collective that I'm tight with. I mean, I'm a part of Block the Wind.
That's hilarious.
Allegedly. And yeah, this is my hoodie. And
what?
Yeah, Block the Wind's a dope collective, yo. Shout out. I love those people. £1, Ben's Potato, amazing people. Pancakes. Oh yeah, sorry too. Shout out everyone who copped the Ryan B hoodie. I love you. Next question. Pancakes, waffles, or French toast?
Waffles.
What's an album that you put on and it makes you feel good?
This is Rome by Arm & Hammer, just because you mentioned it earlier.
Classic.
I love this. That shit's everything.
They're amazing. They're dropping an album with The Alchemist.
I know.
I pre-ordered the vinyl. I'm so pumped. I got to give $40 right to the website. 180
didn't crash
gram.
on you or anything?
No, 180 grams too, bro. It's fucking. That's a blunt weapon,
that's the
bro.
Super heavy weight. Yeah. No, that shit's ill.
Blunt weapon.
I'm so happy for. I mean, Billy Woods, Backwood Studios.
Billy Woods is one of the. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lucid raps better than 99.9% of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, there's not even a point in comparison.
But
honestly,
Billy Woods, I don't know. Billy Woods, I think because he might have just a couple more solo albums. I could be incorrect about that. But Woods to me is just. When I was thinking about like MCs, I actually had this thought today in my head. I'm like, if I picked 3 MCs to listen to forever for the rest of my life, just like move me by like how much I love their music when they're rapping, like the actual art of being an MC. Yasin Bey, aka Mostaf, Doom, and then Woods came to my mind. I'm like, I think that's the 3 like that. Like if I had to pick like 3 like right now, but then I'm like, what about Hami? What about Rap for Rare? I'm like, all right, wait, hold up, Ben. Like, stop! Don't turn your brain off and go back to your shit. But Woods is.
Listen
problem.
or whatever. Yeah. Woods is.
And Elucid's a problem. Elucid's a problem, bro.
I mean, Elucid's like. I mean, they're both incredible. They're both like just.
They're so good.
So beautiful.
Shout out Arm & Hammer. Go get that album when it drops.
Yeah. Get all their shit
you go buy all their shit now.
The Small Bills record, the Brass record with More Mother.
Shout out the Lasso. Brass is More
crazy.
Mother.
More Mother's amazing. I did not see that, and I knew about More Mother too.
So
I did not know they were going to connect.
So good, dude. And Brass with the Lassos. I mean, that's me. Small Bills with the Lassos, fucking great too. Lasso makes wild beats too.
I didn't know shit about Lasso, and I was like,
he dope.
Fuck, this Lasso, shit is insane.
He bends sound different, man.
I know. Well, he also, it's like super live feeling, you know what I mean?
I think there was a lot of live instrumentation
he plays guitar,
his last album.
And like he's definitely got some dude playing saxophone and shit.
There's a lot of full band elements to what he then will like add post-production to.
Yeah.
Sweet. You know your shit, Gibbs freelance. You know what you're talking about, man. I meet a good amount of like people who can have surface level conversations and drop the names, but you put in some work, man. I see you out here with your knowledge. Sweet. What's a Portland food spot that you love? Call in the water too.
Punkies, because I went there today.
Where's that?
On Brighton Ave, where the old 7-Eleven was.
Oh yeah.
The place with the sun.
They
changed ownership a lot.
I thought
that's the best part about it.
I thought it got closed for a second. I'm like, wait, that place is still open, but
they
changed owners.
Yeah.
What do they serve? I've never been in there. So it's just like a local spot.
Dude, you gotta go. It's just like, Portland's version of it's just like another Ananias type spot. You know what I mean?
It's like the Ramados kind of
Monkeys is just dope because it's always been there, and it's always like the menu is exactly the same, but like the ownership is always like 100% different, like every like year and a half, and it's just like it's just a weird vibe.
Does the food taste different though? That's my thing. If you change owners,
if anything, it's like a little bit better now.
Oh shit!
I think I don't actually know 100% where, like what happened with the old owners or what, but there was like closed for a period of
places like that fascinate
other people bought it. But
yeah, I'm looking at the Punkies menu right now. You got me. They open at 6 a.m. I've heard about Punkies a lot, and a lot of my homies that live in the Brighton area, like Deering, like
it's
even
not like the greatest food of all time. It's just like a classic spot that like,
but it's like,
I don't know, just growing up in the area, that was like just like a great solid place.
It feels like a heavy local, like you're fucking 13, you and your friends are on your bikes, you get Punkies and you get a sandwich and a Powerade, and your teeth are blue.
Yeah, and you're good.
It's one of those days. I think I've never been there because it's like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I usually get home from work at a different time. And I'm not going to front, when I get food on my days off, I usually hit it more like the peninsula than going out. But regardless, shout out local spots. Let's keep it going. We got 2 more questions. Second favorite color.
Second favorite color. Green.
Best concert you've ever seen.
Best concert. Dude, that's a really good question because I feel like I know the answer, but I don't know. I saw like the Flaming Lips at the State Theater. That was like an incredible time. That was just like, they just like put on such a good show.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah, I saw like Billy Woods when he came with like Homeboy Sandman or whatever. That was like, that was just dope just to hear him fucking do it.
Yeah, the Woods. Miles Boland was there too. I think Miles Boland.
Yeah, true. But just to hear him doing the Hiding Places shit live was dope.
Seeing him
was dope.
Seeing Billy Woods
in person, and just
that's experience.
And being like, if you see me in the back, don't call me Billy, just refer to me as Woods. It's just like, this man is like just such an entity.
Jesus. His verse on I think it's called Dump Meester, the album by Mock Homie.
Oh, dude, on 383 Myrtle.
Let me see.
Dude, that shit is nutty. It's 383 Myrtle. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
That fucking song
is like, he fits that like mold so fucking well. Like, dude, both of those things go hand in hand.
I play it in my car sometimes and I almost cry. I'm like, what?
Dude,
what?
He rides those like, yeah, and
what?
Just like sings on the second half.
Yeah, and the first time I heard that, I was like, wait, like where's Mox like rapping? Then the second time I hear it, I'm like, this is fucking.
It's basically like a Woods verse.
This is dope as fuck.
And then just like Mock is like just kind of riding the rest of that shit.
I want to look up the lyrics real quick. Let's see if I can find it. It's probably butchered.
He has some of my favorite. Like,
for all my pretensions, still mix up tenses. Thought I was pensive. Still, you seen the light on the pen tip. Hypertensive. This thing of ours, it's no pensions. Jay said, I'm about $1. What the fuck, this 50-cent shit? Shakespearean vengeance. Rest assured. There was a line that really had me.
His ad libs are the best too, because they come in like he laughs at that joke that he makes. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like the one of like 3 or 4 or 5 ad libs in the whole verse. Just like, I love that shit. It's just so very poignant.
This line too, I love too. Rest assured, there's curtains at the end, and don't talk about love. Love that shit expensive. You don't know what it costs just to keep the friendship. HBO, Haitian Body Odor, the Mock Homie album, I imagine. Original print hanging near the entrance. What the fuck, bro?
Or foyer, if you prefer.
Freight paid by ghosts sitting top those benches. Died deep in the trenches. They got stripes and tin medals. You chuckle, but time turned many a pot to a kettle. Bro, stop. Fuck out of here. Stop teaching James Joyce. Stop teaching literature. I want Billy Woods verses in schools. I want Rapper Rara verses in schools. I want Mock Homie verses in schools. I want Ka. I want Ka verses in schools. I want Tierra Whack verses in schools. I'm out, man. I'm out. I'm podcast over. All right. I'm getting too, you get me too amped, yo. I gotta calm down here. The sativa's wearing off, which is weird. Sativa sometimes will like calm me down enough to have a very articulate train of thought, stream of consciousness vibe, but then once it wears off, I'm like hyper again.
I feel that. I definitely fucked it up and went a little too hard, and then like got into a groove at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like I got a little too high right before. and then it settled in at a certain
point. You smoke and you make beats and you like Billy Woods and you got an open mind. You're pretty much good with me, man. So don't worry about it.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Likewise.
You survived the rapid fire. Hard pivot. Get ready. Jump in the pool without even looking. What made you want to drop Purple Hill Gold Rat? What was it? Like you said, 3 years before you dropped the tape, yo?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Shout out to my friends who just keep telling me to drop shit.
And I'm gonna tell you this too, as like a new person that we're talking, you should drop more shit if you feel like you want to.
Oh yeah.
Your shit's dope, man. Trust me. Like I hear a lot of different beats out here. You're doing something different out here. Trust me.
I appreciate that, dude. I really 100%. Do. I'm like behind on making beat tapes for a couple different people right now, and so I have to like sort of try to prioritize.
What do you mean beats? Like that,
and then
packs?
Also, yeah, it's just like I've been working like with people sort of behind the scenes, like
Wooly. I see you working with Wooly.
Yeah, Wooly and like THT, sent backs to like various other people, like a couple people in the Ruby Yacht, shit like that. Nice. Nothing that's like out at the time, but
that shit you dropped. What was it called? Goals, maybe by Wooly. Gullz.
Oh yeah.
With like the young Goku giving the piece.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I don't exactly know off the top.
That shit was dope as fuck, and I like the beat. I'm like, motherfucker, I want more Gibbs placements out here. I want more Gibbs freelance beats out here.
Dude, him and I have so many songs. It's not even funny. But he's we're always on some different.
Drop it the tape, and then I'll get Wooly on here to promote.
I would love to.
Do you? It's always about the form of expression, but sometimes I think just speaking it like a third person version to myself, I get stuck in my own ways, and sometimes every now and then you need somebody to be like, yo, like take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself and your thoughts, but like you got fucking something cool going here, like you should put it out there if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always good to hear that.
I appreciate that, man. Thank
you. That's sweet though. Yeah, I guess I'm ranting here. You can what made you put this one out after so long? Just like the homies pretty much?
No, it was mostly myself actually. Well, it was my homies like, helping me like just have the motivation to like they're like, dude, please, like this is so dope. Like you just gotta like put something out, like just do something. But I just knew I had to be on my own terms. I'm a very particular and sensitive person when it comes to a lot of things, but especially creativity.
100%.
And
100%.
Yeah, it just had to be like literally I spent like 3 months making a tape before this one that was like double the length and had all these different transitions planned out. And I was like, I can't, like, I just like, I don't know. I had like a kind of like a panic mode about it.
Yeah.
And I scrapped most of it, kept a couple things, and then built everything off that anew. And then I was like, all right, fuck it, it's ready. Like, I know if I sit on this, I'm not gonna like it. So I just gotta put it out. You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta, when you get the what would the word be? The itch to drop, just do it in a sense, right? Like,
yeah, for real. Well, once it was done, it took a while to get it ready because I don't know if I'm doing it the right way, but I was basically just made it by putting all of the finished beats into one Ableton project and then made all of the transitions and shit there. And so then I had to, in order to export it separately, you just have to like splice the things up. And so it was just took a lot of like fine tuning, like where I wanted the songs to end and start, and like how I wanted the transition to sound, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel now that it's out, looking back at the project? Because again, I think I got to pull out the ones I liked in my question list. It's deep.
Yeah, no, you
like
liked
Smoke's
Doctor's
Filled
Orders
Room,
and Smoke
Doctor's
Filled
Orders.
Room. Yeah.
When did you make those?
Doctor's Orders is actually, well, since we're talking about Billy Woods, that song actually samples Billy Woods in it, and also is a song that I made because I wanted to like send a beat back to Woods like a year and a half ago, I think. And then the other
that was
one,
a little more modern.
Yeah, and then the other one, you know, it's kind of like that Rock Marciano inspired vibe. Just no drum beat.
Marsburg.
The sample chop. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude,
I didn't get onto him until Marcialago, and that shit blew me the
really damn
away.
that's
well, I
recent.
knew who he was.
No, yeah,
I remember
like, listening
asking
to
Rap Ferrero what his favorite rapper was once at the time, and he was like Rock Marciano. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And I remember looking him up like a couple of years later, and it was like, oh shit.
I got into him actually with Mars. I was putting people on in my college in 2012 to Marsburg. I'm not lying. That's no cap. That's a Benny P Fat. And I was always blown away by him, bro. Like same, like he's
incredible,
dude.
His production, and
his beats.
Mean, once I figured out that they were all his beats, I was like, all right, it's over.
His beats. I forget how influential Marsburg is. Almost like not even strictly because he kills the raps are visceral, but he kills the beats, bro. Like,
dude, his delivery is nutty. His like, I think he does that. He's like my favorite in that style of just like
he's goated. Yeah, he's goated.
Riding back in this like fucking like
I feel good about myself.
Just sort of driving slowly and just smoking slowly. Everything's in. Yeah, I don't know, man. That shit's just cool.
Dude,
he's dope.
I have there's a song called Thread Count on what's it called? Reloaded? Fuck. What's the second one he dropped? Let me see. Yeah, it came out in 2012 when I was actually in college. And there's a song called Thread Count, and the opening bars I probably just say out loud like 3 times a day because they fucking get stuck in my head. And it's in seclusion, I pin up piff like weed. In the Land Cruiser, I'm tan like I've been to Cuba. My keys is white like sand in Aruba. Exude confidence from my view of the metropolis. I fed flakes to my tropical fish. Pulled the top off the 6 like a Badu wig. I'm no pushover. I push the rover. Like that. I swear that verse gets stuck in my head. I can't tell you how many times a day. Like for the past month, I've been saying that. And I feel crazy. I'm like, why the fuck is it stuck in my head? But when shit is that good, that's what it does to you. And I think that's why we do this, man. Like it's such a part. Like listening and being a fan is such a part of my existence, and I imagine your existence, that a lot of this shit is second nature. Like I'm surprised I can even get answers out of artists sometimes. Like it baffles me. I'm like, I love that we can have this awareness as beings because I'm so moved by what inspires me. Sometimes I feel like I can't even articulate it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I mean, I definitely articulate it better some days and sometimes different in other days. You know what I mean?
100%.
It depends on your mood, but yeah,
1000%.
It's dope to be able to share that.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, I agree, yo. Well, again, the tape, friends, is Purple Hill Gold Rat, collection of some more recent and kind of from a couple of years back tracks from Gibbs Freelance. But again, worth checking out. All my beat heads, please check it out on Bandcamp. Keep looking out for, I guess, stuff that Young Gibbs has been producing too. Shout out Wooly. That was like what I've seen you work with personally, and I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to shout out?
That you're working Wooly, on? Shout out OK Cree. Shout out
OK Cree's
THT. Yeah, man. Those are all my good friends.
OK Cree is dope. Another Resample person, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Resample, So Folks Beat Invitational. Yeah, man. I don't know. More to come. Absolutely more to come.
Love to hear that. Well, I have my standard questions I ask everybody to conclude the tail end here. What's been keeping you grounded during this pandemic? You know, it's tough on everyone, man. Especially I think us artists who already can have a tough time with our, figuring ourselves out in a sense. So, is there anything that's been a constant piece of solace for you throughout this?
I got a studio space over at on Presumpscott Street, and that shit has been everything. Like me and Wooly and THT just kind of went in on that.
That's off of Washington, right?
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah. It's mostly like a metal and like punk band and rock band kind of practice space.
Yeah.
But he's like pretty all inclusive to anything. The guy that runs it.
Sweet.
So yeah, we got a spot. We got like a tiny little room there, and we've just been building it up over time. We got like a booth in there and shit, and that's everything.
I love that.
You're just sitting at home and you just like don't want to be there. I don't know. I've always wanted to just like a place I could go outside of my
yeah
house.
Sometimes it's key. You gotta have. That's why I do what I do with like all my decorations and shit. Is I need like a place in which I feel inspired by. If that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. It's
sweet.
It's its own spot. Yeah.
Well, shout out the music, yo, keeping us all grounded. Where can people contact you if they have any, just inquiries, things of that nature?
You can hit me up on like Instagram or any sort of social media like that, just like at gibbsfreelance. I don't have too many ways of contacting.
Yeah. Where'd you get the name real quick, by the way?
The name is from a few different things. Mostly comes from the show on Adult Swim called Tom Goes to the Mayor from 2004. It's like a Tim and Eric. I don't know if you ever heard of Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job.
100%.
Yeah. So their earlier show was Tom Goes to the Mayor. There's a character played by Brian Posehn named Gibbons.
I know, bro. Yeah, he's a redheaded actor, right?
Yeah. Stand-up comedian, just actor. Dope dude.
Comedian too.
But and for whatever reason I just always like really liked that, and in high school my friends, I can't remember why, would just like call me Gibbs all the time.
This is pre Freddie Gibbs too, so you get a pass.
Yeah. I mean, this is like pre when I even knew about Freddie Gibbs at all. I mean, he had obviously been putting out shit since before that, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Like he wasn't in your consciousness.
I didn't really even, like a lot of people really get onto Freddie Gibbs until obviously Pinata.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like a lot of people from my sphere of like already being onto Madlib and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I was tapped in with him with Straight Killer No Filler, the EP. I believe there's a song called National Anthem called "Fuck the World," and then he was also. I was big into the XXL covers because they actually used to have like pretty serious MCs, not more like kind of pop stars.
For sure.
There was a year I had because the first year, there was 1 year. They might have taken a year off, or they didn't brand it in the same sense. But then they did a year where it was like Blue, Currency, Mickey Fax, Charles Hamilton, and like B.O.B. and Asher Roth, I think, were on that as well. Even Corey Guns, maybe. Time. Yeah, so that was different. But then 2010, Freddie Gibbs, J-Rock of Top Dog Entertainment, I believe Nipsey Hussle, I believe Wiz Khalifa, I believe oh fuck, dude, what's that dude's name? I gotta look this up. I'm tripping. The 2010 class actually has J. Cole. J. Cole is on that.
Okay.
Like really big artists from today. And Gibbs was on there, and I'm like, shit, like this is sick. Like, Fashion was on there. That's who else it was. Yeah, Big Sean, dude. Like, there was some pretty big artists on that one. So when I saw Gibbs, I'm like, this guy fucking raps, and I was just a huge fan.
His technical skill and lyrical skill is just incredible.
Yeah, and he did like a cool, because I was a Lauryn Hill fan due to her album, and he did a Miseducation of Freddie Gibbs, I believe, mixtape. Really? And then he had another one that was
interesting,
similar to.
He's got a lot of output too, outside of the Madlib shit. It's like
he puts out
shit out with
so
Kenny
much
Beats, or just like the Freddie EP, I think it was. It's like
Freddie EP,
like a pink coat or something like that.
Yeah,
it's got some shit with like Kenny Beats on there.
It's like a Teddy Pendergrass homage.
Yeah. And then Fetty too with Currency.
Dude, I like Fetty probably more than I even like Alfredo. Fetty's fucking. I'm a huge Currency fan.
I honestly haven't. Yeah. I haven't even listened to Alfredo yet.
But Bandana is damn near immaculate too. All right, I'm getting distracted again, Mr. Gibbs. Hit him up on IG, y'all.
Yeah.
Go get the new album, Purple Hill Gold Rat, on Bandcamp, the new tape. Support local artists, respect the producer always. Shout out Resample, shout out Soul Folks, shout out you for listening at home. Last question, young Gibbs, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Where will Gibbs Freelance be 1 year from now?
Doing the same thing, perhaps not in the same place, but probably just a couple levels higher.
Love to hear it, yo.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming through. Go get the new tape, y'all, and we'll see you next week. It's good talking with you, yo.
Yeah.
All right, peace out.